Hello YouTube people, this is Mano. Okay, unlike some of my other videos that you may have seen, this one's gonna be serious. Well, you may not have seen me be very serious often, unless you know me very well. Okay, anyways, this is the video that I promised that I'd do about telling my 2-year-old daughter about death. So, just so you don't think that this guy's all messed up and stuff and just randomly talking to his daughter about death, although that may not be a bad idea too. But anyways, in this case, it was her grandfather who passed away. My father-in-law, her nonno, which is Italian for godfather, grandfather. Okay, so yeah, so he passed away last week, and the viewing and funeral were going to be held over the weekend last week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, anyways, it doesn't matter. And she was gonna go. She was gonna attend, and basically we decided that we weren't gonna shield her from the concept of death. Concept, I don't really know if that's a good word for death. Let's say the event of death, or whatever you want to call it. Death, dying. We weren't gonna shield her from death. So that wasn't a choice. But I wanted to explain this to her before taking her there. So I didn't know how I was going to do it, and there was a part of me that didn't know if I should do it. Like being honest, that is, explaining it to her outright. So, you know, of course, old programming brought in ideas and thoughts of like, hey, maybe you shouldn't be so honest with her and blunt and tell her he's dead, and instead tell her such things as, you know, he's sleeping, or any other of the multitude of explanations we give children for death. But instead, I was thinking to myself that I remember being young and having a lot of questions about some things and getting kind of answers that I knew weren't very truthful or honest, sugar-coated, or sometimes in some cases outright lies. And I knew that I didn't want to do that. So I decided that I was going to tell her the truth somehow. Now, I didn't know how I was going to bring this up, so in the morning, the day before the viewing, I decided to take her to the park, High Park. That is, High Park. Great park, by the way. And go to the zoo and visit our friend Kongor and the emu. So, along the way, as synchronicity would have it, we had some good examples of death. Before those examples, though, we saw some live squirrels, and she loves the live squirrels. I know that sounds kind of weird, but anyways, she loves the live squirrels, and she was like looking at them and trying to chase them, and blah blah blah, look, there's squirrels, let's go look at the squirrels. Anyways, we saw these beautiful squirrels, and tried catching them, making weird noises as I do. Some ducks we saw, and a whole bunch of other live animals. Pointed out how live they were. I did. And then we arrived to the zoo part, where our friend Kongorn was waiting for us to play with him. And in front of Kongorn's cage, what do we see? It was the corpse of a squirrel lying there. So, perfect timing. I walked up to the squirrel. I hunched down with Emilia, my daughter, and I showed her the squirrel. So, we're looking at this dead squirrel, and I pointed out the fact that it wasn't moving, unlike the other squirrels. And she obviously noticed this as well. And I pointed out to her that he's not moving because he's dead. And we know he's not sleeping because you can't see his chest moving. And I reminded her of times where, you remember when you saw Baba sleeping, his chest is moving, you could see some sort of subtle movement, and in this case there isn't any movement. By the way, I do talk to my daughter like that. I try to avoid the goo goo gaga stuff. You know, sometimes it's hard because she's cute and all, but I do talk to her kind of straight. Anyways, so she also made the note that yes, he's not moving, and she repeated that he's dead, but the squirrel is dead. Then we played with Gongorn and we left, and on our journey through the zoo, she was in her little car that she rides in, and she points out, oh, there's a truck going by, it's kind of loud. Anyways, she points out that there's a she's called it a bug. I looked down, it was a bug. I don't really know what it was. Kind of looked like a spider. She goes, oh, look, Baba. But I kind of was like in the middle of the motion and didn't see it in time and ran it over with the little car trucky thing that she rides in. And another good example, didn't want to point out that I was the murderer either. So I rolled over it. We saw it. Pointed out that it was moving and is no longer moving because Baba ran it over and now it's dead, just like the squirrel. And she made the connection. She said, oh yes, Baba, it's not moving like the squirrel, it's dead. So anyways, I wasn't really quite sure if she kind of got the concept, but those are two good examples before going to the viewing. The next day we get to the viewing and I decided I was just gonna march right up to the coffin and show her grandfather. So as we approached, we both looked in, and she looked at her grandfather and kind of did a quick scan over, and outright just says, Baba, Nono's dead. He's not moving, on her own, and then follows it up with, just like the squirrel and the bug. And I said, yes, Kuklamu, he's not moving. He's dead, just like the squirrel and the bug. So at that point, I kind of understood that she got the concept as much as a 2-year-old could possibly get it. I mean, mind you, how many of us really get the concept of death? But anyway, that's a different video altogether. Yeah, we went along through the night talking about this every once in a while, bringing it up. She'd bring it up, I'd bring it up. She'd randomly tell me that Nono's not moving. He's dead like the squirrel. And a lady heard us talking, and she heard her say these words, that Nono's dead. She clearly didn't like this, so she approached us and told my daughter, no, no, no. Well, by the way, she gave me this kind of look like, what are you telling your kid, you insane bastard? She didn't say those words, but she kind of gave me this not so nice look. And she tells my daughter that Nono's sleeping for a very long time. So my daughter turns to me and repeats those words. She says, oh, Nono's sleeping, Baba. Kind of looking for some validation of her statement. Now, at that point, I didn't know what to do. I was thinking to myself, maybe I'd wait till the lady left and then tell my daughter, hey, you know, she doesn't know what she's talking about, or I don't agree with her. Like, that's not true. But then that'd make me a hypocrite, wouldn't it? So I decided that, you know, in her life she's going to get a lot of information that, you know, could be put in the category of not so true, and that censoring it isn't a good idea, and kind of letting her make her own decisions would be a good one. So I kind of just shrugged and said, I don't know. And I decided I wasn't going to say anything after the lady left. So then she looks back at me and then looks back at the lady, and then as the lady was leaving, she turned to me and she said, Amelia, that is, my daughter, says to me, no, Baba, Nono's dead. And it was as if she scanned us both, the lady and I, to see who believed her statement more. I'm not sure if that's what was going on in her head. I can't really read anyone's mind, but that's kind of like the impression I got. One way or another, she kind of figured out that one statement was truer than the other. So, what did I learn from this story? The moral of this story. It's kind of cool how every good story has to have a moral. I hope this was a good one. Yeah, the moral was that maybe we should reconsider some of the things we tell our children, whether they're students or our actual children or each other, and because on a certain level, all of us, especially children, have an awesome BS detector, and they kind of always know, and you kind of always know too, as an adult, that someone's pulling your chain, whether it be something in the media or a textbook or a history book or something your parents might have told you or your teacher or whatever. There's a part of you that kind of always knows, even if you go along with the lie, you kind of always know that something is wrong here. And I remember, like I said earlier, people telling me certain things that weren't true. When I looked into them, I realized how they really weren't true at all. And I remember looking at those people differently after that. And I don't want her to do the same with me. I don't want her to look at me like that. And I hope I'm strong enough and wise enough to be able to say some very powerful words, which are, I don't know when I don't know. And even when I think I know, always offer the possibility that I might be wrong, that I don't. No one really knows a lot of things, and but this is what I think, and try to back up why it is that I think what I think. Anyways, yeah, so that was the story of me telling my daughter about death, explaining it to her and showing it to her. Anyways, yeah, thanks for listening, and if you got this far, I really appreciate it. Thank you for your patience, and I'll be starting a new channel on called The Study of Stuff. I really like that title the more I think about it, where I'll be discussing more serious topics and issues concerning things I've studied over a lifetime, but for the most part, really, the last 5-6 years, maybe 7 years now, immersed myself in the science of consciousness, metaphysics, philosophy, psychology, and alternative ways of healing, meditation, energy work, qigong and such, new energy ways and things like that. And I'll be discussing these, and I don't really know where I'm going to go with that channel. I think I'm just going to kind of start by answering some questions people have been asking me in the last little while. Anyways, I'll stop babbling now. The link will be down below for The Study of Stuff. So if you want, subscribe, go there. Subscribe here, Mr. Mano. Yeah, there's nothing really on that channel as of yet. There will be soon. Don't know when exactly I'll find the time to start doing some stuff, but I already got some ideas and things written down on psychology, meditation, and things of the sort. Anyways, yep, thanks for listening.